EU residency for financially independent individuals. When people think about moving to Europe, they usually look at digital nomad visas. But there is another category that often makes much more sense, especially for people with capital or stable passive income. These are residency programs for financially independent individuals. They are designed for people who don't need to work in the country in order to live there. This includes retirees, investors, and people who already have income or savings that allow them to support their lifestyle. And it's important not to confuse this with digital nomad visas. With a digital nomad visa, you normally show active remote income, a job, freelance work, contracts. Here, the logic is different. You are basically showing, I don't need to work, I already have enough, that incomes can come from different sources. In most European countries, the acceptable types are quite similar. It can be rental income from property, dividends, interest, income from investment portfolios, or pension income. Sometimes savings can also be taken into account, especially if they clearly cover your living expenses. What matters is not just the amount, but how stable and predictable that income is. Countries want to see that your lifestyle doesn't depend on working day to day. Now let's look at the main programs. Spain has what is called Non-Lucrative visa. It's one of the most well-known options. You are not allowed to work in Spain under this status, and the financial requirement is relatively high. It works well for people who specifically want Spain and are comfortable showing a strong financial position. Portugal offers the D7 visa. This is one of the most accessible programs in Europe. The minimum they hold is low compared to other countries, and it's widely used by people with passive income, including retirees. Italy has Elective residency visa. This is a more classic route for financially independent individuals. It's clearly designed for people who already have substantial means and want to live in Italy without work. France offers what is called Visiteur status. This is a more classic route for financially independent individuals. It's clearly designed for people who already have substantial means and want to live in Italy without working. It allows you to live in France as long as you don't take up local employment and can support yourself. Greece also has a financially independent road. It's popular for people who want a Mediterranean lifestyle and access to the Schengen area without necessarily investing in real estate. Austria is another option, although it's more structured. It has quotas, stricter requirements, and tends to be less flexible than Southern European countries. Now let's talk about the financial side in more concrete terms. In Spain, you are typically looking at around €2,500 per month for a single applicant. Portugal starts much lower, around €900 to €1,000 per month, although in practice it's always better to show more. Greece is higher, with a commonly used benchmark of around €3,500 per month. Italy and France usually fall somewhere in $2,000 to $3,000 range, but they tend to look at your overall profile as just one number. Austria has formal minimums, but in reality, applicants are expected to show a higher level of financial comfort. In addition to income, it's always a good idea to show savings. Even if you meet the monthly requirement, having reserves on your account makes your application much stronger. In terms of documents, the package is quite standard across countries. You will need bank statement, usually for last 6 or 12 months. You will need proof of income, for example, rental contracts, dividend statements, pension documents, or investment reports. Often you will also need tax declaration. On top of that, you need accommodation, private health insurance, and clean criminal record. Now let's talk about timing and how long these permits are issued for. In most countries, the initial visa is issued for 1 year. After that, you renew it inside the country. Portugal and Greece, following this 1 year starts, and renewals for 2 years periods after that. Spain usually gives 1 year first and then renews for 2 years at the same time. Italy and France starts with 1 year residency with further extension. Italy and France also start with 1 year residence with renewals if you continue to meet the requirements. Austria is a bit different because of the quota system, but the logic is similar: initial approvals and renewal-based compliance. To extend your status, you generally need to show the same thing again, that you still have sufficient income and you are still living in the country as required, and that you have maintaining your insurance and accommodation. It's also important to understand that these programs often come with a physical presence requirement.